Hello everybody, welcome back to another FJ1 video where I'll be discussing news, predictions and analytics. Today I'll be giving my driver ratings from the Bahrain Grand Prix. First, I will be starting off with Kevin Magnussen in the Haas car. He had a good race but a not so good qualifying, but he had a very good race and that's why I've given him an 8. Next we have Hulkenberg also driving the Haas. I gave him a 9 for a very good qualifying and stuck with Magnussen for most of the race, which is very good. Next of all, we have Zhou Guanyu in this Kick Sauber. I've given him a 9 because he was in a very good position for most of the race, although he kind of fell back I think from 11th. Next we have Bottas. I've given him a 5 because he was kind of in the middle of nowhere for most of the race and I can't remember a single thing that he did that race. Next I have Ricciardo, who finished 6th. There was a whole controversy with him Tsunoda over the whole swap position thing. And he also ran off the tarmac at turn 10 and won the lap, so that's why I've only given him a 6. Next, I have Tsunoda. I've given him a 7, but he did get very angry on the cool down lap and really went mad. But other than that, he had a pretty good race and good qualifying. Next, we have Logan Sargent. I've given him an 8, even though if you just look at the position, he had a very bad race. But he was doing good for most of the race till something went wrong with his steering wheel. The new Williams steering wheel was really struggling. Next, we have Alexander Albon, who also had trouble with the steering wheel, but I did give him a 7. Other than that, nothing really happened in the race for him. Next, we have Esteban Ocon, who was ahead of his teammate Gasly for most of the race, but the Alpine was really struggling, probably the worst car in the grid. That's why I've given him a 5. Gasly got a 4, he was mostly behind him for most of the race and all the qualifying, but other than that he was okay. Next of all we have Lance Stroll, who got a point. He only got 1 point, but it was what was expected from him. Other than that, just a pretty normal race. Same with Alonso, he had a good qualifying though, but fell back a lot in the race and only got 9th place, which is still good for an Aston Martin though. Next of all I have Oscar Piastri. He got overtaken by a very good overtake by Hamilton, but other than that, had a pretty good race, so I've given him a 7. Same with Norris, had a good race, I've given him an 8. That's really all. The McLarens did very good because they're usually pretty bad around Bahrain. Sainz, who I expected not to do as good as Leclerc this season, really performed, and that's why I've given him a 10 out of 10, top marks. He was on the podium, which will be a very good result for him. Next, we have Leclerc. I've given him an 8, although he did have a very good qualifying but struggled a lot with the issues from his car in braking I think. He was locking up a lot at turn 10, really struggling with the issues. Next of all, we have George Russell. Very good qualifying in 3rd and also had issues during the race. I think it was cooling issues, I'm not 100% sure though. That's why I've given him a 9. Next of all, I have Hamilton. Good overtake on Piastri. That is really his only highlight from the race. As he's moving to Ferrari, I don't think he really cares about this season, as he's fine with Mercedes, but just is focused on Ferrari right now. That's why I've given him a 5. Next of all, we have Perez, who finished 2nd, 22 seconds behind his teammate. But I've given him an 8 because he did have a very good race and an okay qualifying. Next of all, we have Verstappen, who I've given a 10. He won by 22 seconds, which is very rare in Formula 1. But at the same time, it is Verstappen. And I don't really like him, but he's just too good.